Welcome to Danube River! And today, spawning on the east side of the map, playing in orange, we've got 3DB playing as the Abassid dynasty. And his opponent today on the northwest, playing in blue, we've got 3D Anotand as the Mongols. Welcome everyone to this Age of Empires forecasted game, and well, we've got into the thick of the action already. We saw the Mongol Khan just finding that town center, but managing to escape, getting out of there without losing the life. Now, this is actually an interesting opening. Lots to talk about in the civilization matchup, the Mongols versus the Abassid dynasty, especially on this map, which we don't get to see all that often, but I'm super excited about this because it's an interesting map, lots of new things to talk about, especially with the civilization matchup. Now, the good thing that for 3DB has done so far is already palisade walled up this area to protect the dock. Now, but you might be wondering, isn't this a bit too cautious? But actually, you know what, when you consider what the Mongols are known for, what they're renowned for, is the outpost rush, and you can see this actually already happening here. So 3DB didn't actually manage to scout this, I don't believe, but he knows it's likely to be one of the potential options for the Mongols. And I mean, it's just a little bit of a wood investment, it's not huge, and he's going to complete those palisade walls now, and he's got the dock up and running, right? So he's got the eco really nice and safe, and I think the problem now for the Mongols is that sometimes in certain maps you're kind of a victim at what the civilization does really well. Like, he probably felt a bit of pressure to do this, but the thing is, I'm not sure how much value he's going to get, because the palisade walls will keep the spearmen out for quite a period of time. Now, he might actually eventually break through, especially if he starts to really double down and get more double production of spearmen, which is entirely possible. If he really starts to mass those up, he could probably break through eventually, but the palisade walls is just going to buy 3DB a lot of time to get the fishing economy up and running, and because of the fact that the Abassid dynasty get the docks at cheaper prices for wood, it means that it can afford more fishing ships early. And look at this, he's already got 4 on the field, so this is a great bit of economy for 3DB really early on, and this is going to scale really well for him as the game progresses. Now, the Mongols, though, all is not lost. This is just the initial part of the game, initial opening, and we'll have to see actually how he manages to, whether he manages to break through, what his options are. Now, he could just brute force his way through with plenty of spearmen. Another option is to drop down a dock, which is pretty safe to do at this point, and could get a transport ship. He could then take the spearmen across the river and actually start to attack the dock itself, but it just takes a lot of time to do that, right? And so this is all valuable fishing time that 3DB is having. In any case, we'll look beyond this and talk about the civilization matchup a little bit more holistically, a bit more broadly. The Mongols have a decent opportunity to trade on this map. It is because of the trade post right in the corner of the map. And it could go for the silver tree landmark, plonk it in the corner there, and start bringing out those traders. It's a really strong trading civilization, the Mongols, and so there's a lot of value to be had there. Now, trade could help him catch up with the fish boom that's happening right now, and the villager coming out for 3DB just to wall that up and just repair it. He might need a second villager. He does pull out a second villager to do that, and he's going to get a second dock on the river, so certainly going to commit to that water, and why not, as the Abassid dynasty? So he's going to keep this nice and safe. And I think now he does have no choice but to get that dock down and get a transport ship. And he does just that. So it's a really nice opening here for 3DB for certain. He's actually got the advantage in many ways. And yeah, I mean, Anton has had to commit quite a lot. Now, with the committal to the spearmen, it's quite likely that, yeah, as you can see already, the military wing. That's the landmark. Well, that's the House of Wisdom, of course. The landmark for the Abassid dynasty houses 4 different wings to choose from to get to the next stage, and well, it's going to be the military wing, which is going to be really good for 3DB because, like, there's obviously aggression coming in from the Mongols, right? So 3DB will need units just to be sure that he can be remaining safe. The good thing is that, well, outposts could be a thing, as you can see here being placed by Anotand. If you can keep this up and running and built and safe and secure, he could deny a bit of the fishing economy. The trouble is the Abassid dynasty do get siege engineering for free. So if 3DB really wants to deal with this, he could. He just needs to make sure that he gets the wood economy there for that ram. Pretty pricey, 250 wood for a ram, but as long as he gets military units as well to support, he should be fine. But he does need to address this 3DB. He can't just let this go. And here comes a transport ship to take those spearmen across the river. 3DB spots this. He backs off immediately with the villagers. Quick decision making there. It's exactly what's needed. And now this is going to get torched down. Question is really whether you get this torch down completely, whether the military wing will spawn those 2 archers to push this back in time or not. I'm not so sure, because to be honest with you, 2 archers is not a lot when you consider how many spearmen actually are here, 10. And I think he probably should be able to burn through this quite quickly. Now, the outpost will go up, and there's no real way for B to deny that at this point. But he does need to take this down. So the question is, how does B react to this? Going to get a third dock on the river. Continues that fishing economy. 8 economy units in advantage for B at the moment. And that is really strong. But he's going to get the silver tree here, the Mongols. Going to get that trading up and running. And it's not a bad shout, because the trade route is, yeah, it's not the safest in the world, but it's not bad on Danube River, right? Danube, like, you've only got a couple of ways into your opponent's base. One through the middle and one through the side. And so there's only really 2 entry points, and, you know, Anotand with a couple of outposts could defend that trade very, very nicely. Oh, he's actually going to keep the dock up alive. Oh, that's really a big shame for Anotand. He put it on fire, but the archers came out and pushed that away. That's really quite critical, actually. He does get the raiding bounty, though, the Mongols, for that, and there's going to be a ram instantaneously almost built with the military wing units. Alright, well, the Khan's just picking up a couple of sheep here and there, but I mean, just because 3DB is on water and he's trying to challenge this Anotand doesn't mean he can't go for water himself. Trying to get that outpost, but nice denial with the galley, or the dhow, I should say, the archer ship. In any case, and with that ram, I mean, the question is whether Anotand can stop this ram push coming to take out that outpost. And we do see that dock up and running for Anotand for his own fishing economy. Obviously a little bit behind, but he could scale quite nicely with the docks as well as the trade. As you can see, trade is coming out already. Going to start producing them. And we could even decide to double produce them, to be fair. Has a bit of stone in the bag. It could always be an option. Takes about 120 stone, so could get a double whammy there of traders. At least, but here comes the ram with a couple of units of those military units coming out from the military wing, garrisoned inside the ram, and it's a bit difficult for Anotand to deal with this. Doesn't really have enough spears here. Only had 5, and well, actually had more than that, it seems. Anyway, he's not going to be able to take out the ram before the ram takes out the outpost. His body blocking with the transport does take out the ram, so nice work there. But the damage has been done in taking that outpost out, and it means 3DB can fish pretty comfortably. But although Aristitz has come in for Anotand, the benefit of having that Uvu gets that stone nice and quickly. Gets that a nice bit of upgrade from that dock. But he does have 3 docks here, B, so I would be expecting a full committal to try and take this out. Maybe some demolition ships. There's a transport ship, maybe looking to burn this dock potentially. But he just backs off with the spearmen for now. The question is, how does he deal with this? Probably demo ships is probably the best option. He actually wait, okay, well, it looks like Anotand did have a couple of units queued up. He's going to go for the demolition ship shot first. We'll see if that works or not. The question is, how quickly can B take this down? I mean, the demos do come out very fast. Only 15 seconds. There should be a decent shot on at least a bagler, but oh no, okay, he kind of wasted that. I think he tried to get like all 3 military ships affected, but in the end it didn't really do much at all. He kind of went for the archer ship. It was the wrong call, of course, because the demolition ships, they actually counter the springald ships. In any case, it is what it is, and spearmen are going around the back though with the transport ship transporting them across. But he has to be careful, does react in time, saves the villagers, keeps them alive for now. Needs to be careful here, Anotand, not to run too close to the town centre. And, well, second dock has been denied by a couple of units that B has. He's just done so well to keep these units alive, right? These are the initial units. I don't think he has... Yeah, he's only just starting to put down the production buildings. So much value there from that early military wing expansion. Or, I should say, upgrade to the fuselage. He does take that dock now. And he's looking really strong, 3DB. He's got that fishing economy that he can protect now with these docks. There's no real threat to that. Having said that, though, Anotand's done a great job behind this to get the trade up and running. He's going to move the silver tree a little bit further away to just optimize that trade route. Could do well just to relocate that town center. Probably doesn't want to obviously stop villager production. Maybe just to get a go here, just to make the wood income a little bit more efficient. He does have fishing economy himself, and if he does get naval arrow slits in these 2 docks, that makes it a lot more difficult to be raided through this central area for 3D by 3DB. And 3DB would want to do that, right? He's got control in this kind of area here. He would love to just walk in, but these 2 docks, it's a really nice way to defend this area of the map. And that does mean, though, on the west side, that could be the focus for the main fight. As we do see a villager going to be taken out there. It's got 3 already. And he might even try and get the raiding bounty from this. I'm not sure if he already has. But anyway, he's going to back off now with the 3 spearmen. It kind of has to with the 2 Camel Archers popping out for the Abassid dynasty played by 3DB. Now, I actually really love this unit because like in this matchup, it's really interesting to think about the unit composition, army composition. Before we talk about that though, we're talking about how the two docks here are looking to be very protective of this area. It does mean this western area, this entry, could be the main focus of the initial aggression. We have to see how this game pans out, but going back to the Camel Archer, and the reason why I love this unit in this matchup is because I think this unit actually holds the key to this matchup in many ways. It's obviously a very unique unit, or it is a unique unit for the Abbasid dynasty. The reason why I think this unit is very critical is because the Mongols, they love this army composition of Keshiks and archers, right? And the thing is that the archers for the Abbasid dynasty are just straight up better. When you can, oh, this could be a good demo shot. No, it doesn't get it off in time. But yeah, I mean, the archers for the Abbasid dynasty are just straight up better. When you consider the military wing upgrades with boot camp and also composite bows later on in the game, it's really strong. So boot camp increasing the health of all infantry by 15%, makes the archers stronger in terms of health points, of course. And then the composite bows increases the attack speed of archers by 33%. So not only are they a bit more tankier, they fire faster. Now the Mongols, they do have the Khan boosting up their units, but it's just not the same. And they do also have the Kurul type, but obviously that's already in the Castle Age. And that's obviously a decision to be made. I mean, it's going to be the Kurul type if it does get to the Castle Age, of course. As long as the trade stays alive, because obviously the gold will be coming in from the trade. But I mean, if you just put that all together, you might be thinking, why am I talking about the archers? Well, because if archers are being a constant feature for both armies, well, if the Mongols go for Keshiks, B has Camel Archers. And the reason why this is so strong is because the Camel Archers actually have this little ability. Well, it's a passive ability. It's always there. It's Camel Arnese. And the camels actually cause enemy horse cavalry to deal 20% less damage. That makes the Keshiks just a little bit worse at dealing with the archers that the Abbasid dynasty have. And so this allows the Abbasid dynasty to have a very heavy archer army. And just add in a couple of camel archers in there and you'll be fine against the Keshiks, as long as you have enough of those archers. Because the archers are tankier and they fire faster. The Keshiks are not quite like lancers. They're not quite like the knights. And so they can be taken apart by those archers in good numbers. But you can see those naval arrow slits has been researched in this dock in particular. Do you see the Camel Archers heading forward now? Need to be careful though, because the Camel Archers do get picked apart by the archers themselves. So they're kind of like cannon fodder. They're kind of just one of these units that are there for helping out the Abbasid dynasty as much as they can. But they're by themselves, they're not incredibly good. Like they're not revolutionary. The trouble is now is only kind of relying on them just now. Only a couple of archers left. But they do decent damage against the Keshiks, right? So it's really nullifying the output from the Keshiks, these Camel Archers. But it does need the support with the archers themselves. Something else to consider as well, the Camel Archers themselves, they actually have a very fast movement speed. They don't necessarily look like it. But 1.62 tiles per second is not bad at all. Well, let's just try and find a Keshik to compare that, because that's something to consider. Like, you know, if you're going to go for Keshiks versus Camel Archers, movement speed in Age of Empires 4 can be very critical. We don't actually have any Keshiks. I think, where are they? I think he's got two on the field somewhere, but we'll have to find them in a minute. In any case, 3DB kind of bearing down in the middle, but there's no real way through with these two docks that are defending quite nicely, although B is trying to pressurize this area. Does have two docks of his own, so going to try and brute force his way. As I said, it's going to get a transport ship. Might just go across the map and get through. It's quite a smart play, actually, just to bypass that all. And it makes sense. And it's going to go for the culture wing for the Castle Age here, B. And I really like that, not only just because it's going to get them the Castle Age, gives them the tech up advantage, but also the cheaper Imperial Age might just be a great game changer later on in the game. But yeah, it's going to harass that wood line. Good number of villagers already killed. And now Anotand has a problem on his hands. Doesn't have that much military. He's had to invest a lot into trade, and the trade is up and running now. Let's just see how many traders he does have. He's got 16 traders, so that could really translate well into military. B, keeping just one archer on that wood line, just denying that wood line for the Mongols, just with one archer, so much value. Only has a little bit of fishing economy here, Anotand, not as much as he probably would have wanted. But let's take a look at the Keshik. So the Keshik itself has 1.62 tiles movement speed as well, and the reason why that's significant is because, of course, like the Camel Archers are ranged units, right? So they can always attack and move and attack. Like he's picking off good numbers of traders here with the Camel Archers and the Archers. Now these guys will be lost, but they've done damage, and that's the key issue, because the only thing that can potentially chase down the Camel Archers are the Keshiks. and they've got the same movement speed. The Khan could use the arrow just to speed them up a little bit, but it should be the case that the Camel Archer should get away. The charge for the Keshiks does help a little bit, but I mean, to be fair, he's going to get these Camel Archers. These ones will go down. Does pick off a couple of the fishing bows. That's a bit of an oversight there by Anotand. Didn't spot it in time. Doesn't actually... yeah, so the other thing to consider is that the arrow slits don't actually affect land units. So the arrow slits in the dock only affect the military ships, and it does make it a little bit easier just to run through, but the outpost will certainly be helpful to protect that area too. Alright, well the Keshiks heading back for now. Pretty even in terms of eco, like the trading is certainly helping Anotand come back into the game after that early sort of eco advantage that B had with the fishing economy, which, speaking of which, is actually really quite nice here. 7 fishing ships there, add another 5, add another 8. I mean, this is a lot here for B. A lot of free food. And yeah, I mean, things have calmed down now. I just would like to say, actually, based on this, like, not much happening just right yet, that if you guys have been enjoying the casted content on the game in the channel, do give the video a thumbs up. It really helps out on the algorithm and whatnot. And I'm hoping to do a lot more casting, of course. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date with my latest uploads. And I'm being very picky with the games I choose. I want to pick the, the civilization matchups, the maps in particular as well, and the players too, just to make sure that I know that the game is going to be entertaining, so that whenever you do click on a video that I post, you can be pretty guaranteed it's going to be a decent game at least. That's probably the best way to, not waste anyone's time, but also have some really good content on the channel. A lot of Keshiks here from Anotand, 11 of them. Starting to build up those numbers very nicely. And we get to the stage of the game where the Mongol trade is really starting to pay off. Like, you can see the trade really active, and the eco numbers are very, very similar. And that's also translating to a very similar military number. But it has to be said, though, 3DB does have that tech advantage. He's in the castle age. He's got the veteran Camel Archers. He's got Lancers on the field. These Keshiks do need to back off. And the thing is that 3DB might just look to force an engagement. The Kurultai is the landmark of choice. No real surprises there for the Mongols. But the trouble for Anotand, he feels like he needs to take a fight because that trade is exposed. There's no walls for the Mongols, of course. The Camel Archers on the back line with the Lancers on the front. And the Camel Archers are just going to hit and run for now. 3DB reinforcement. The reinforcements are coming in, adding to the army. And he might look to just maybe take out the outpost. I mean, he does have a decent number of Lancers. They're pretty tanky. He might take this one down for free. But Anotand might try and deny that. He's going to go around on the west side and just get some raiding value. Just deny the trade. Cut it off for now. And he will pick off a couple of traders or two. Yeah, we talked about the movement speed. The charge comes in with the Keshiks, the archers on the back line for the Mongols. But the Camel Archers, they're going to focus on the traders. They're going to do critical eco damage. A couple of Lancers peeling off on the west side. Pulls a couple of Keshiks away with it. The Camel Archers going to hit and run. And the trouble is the archers, the main counters of the Camel Archers, they can't keep up, right? The movement speed too good for the Camel Archers. It's only the Keshiks that can really chase them down. But even then, they're just relying on the charge to chase them down. And this is painful. It's going to lose a lot of the traders. This is great by 3DB. He's going to have done a lot of eco damage. 22 eco damage have been dealt already. And yeah, this is rough because Anotand's trade is looking terrible right now. Compared to what it was, he's only on 9 traders. That's just, yeah, that's bad. He's losing villages on the wood line too. This is a great raiding unit. He talked about how their movement speed really helps them out. And oof, that could be the game-changing play here by 3DB. Backs off for now. I mean, I think these guys are pretty low health now, but they've just done so much damage. I really wish we could see how many like death kills that each unit has. It'd be really fascinating to know. But behind all this, Anotand has got to that castle age, but he's lost a lot of that momentum. He does have a lot of units. I think at this point, 3DB, he just needs to be careful not to take any unfavorable fights. He's got the eco advantage. If he plays this around another 10-15 minutes, he should be pretty safe and secure in winning the game because he's got the eco advantage, of course. Here come the 2 Keshiks, but these guys aren't going to do all that much damage compared to what they could have been. Because of the Camel Archers, the Khan gets involved as well. B just heads away from this. He doesn't want to fight. Don't blame him. Looking to get the composite bows and the veterancy for the archers. And I think at this point, B could just settle down for going for full archers and Camel Archers. Both together could do a lot of damage. Has also transitioned into a second town centre, even a third actually B. So these villagers are really going to start to pump out, and it's going to take advantage, full advantage of that eco deficit that Anotand has right now. trouble for B, he doesn't have that military. Obviously, he lost a lot for the trading off on killing Eco. He does need to build that up again, but it shouldn't take him too long. You know, he's got so many more villagers, and the economy is rocking and rolling. He did go for the culture wing as well, which of course makes all these upgrades cheaper. And so it's such a nice way to play this game. Opened up with the military wing, into the culture wing. Didn't really need trade because of course he's got the fishing economy, which is so strong. And certainly didn't need the eco wing, especially when he got the fishing economy. He's actually taking the fishing from the other side as well. And it's just so strong on this map, right? The trade for the Mongols. It was helping him. It was actually getting him into a decent spot here for Anotand. But that massive raid from the Camel Archers has really scuppered his efforts. He's heading forward now. I think Anotand feels like he's behind. And, well, if he feels that way, he'd be right. Of course, we've got that 2020 vision. Heading forward with the Kurultai. Looks like he's heading in to take a big fight. But it feels like B is ready for it. Like, he's got 65 military units. It's not quite as much in terms of just sheer numbers. But when you think about the army composition, it just feels a little bit better for B, considering he's got Camel Archers. And he does have some Lancers. And the Mangonel is actually an incredibly good addition here, because there's a lot of infantry, a lot of archers for Anotand. I think that Mangonel could be very dangerous for Anotand. Like, this bit of attention to detail, like without that Mangonel, this game and this match and this fight, this potential fight that's coming right now, could be very different. The question is whether the Kurultai will make a meaningful difference. We'll have to see. Now, he knows this is happening. Bit of a fight on the waters, but we're going to have to focus on this fight. This is where the main action is. Camel Archers might just pick off a couple of spearmen. If the spearmen do go down, that leaves the Lancers free. Oh, that's nice. Oh, no. Anotand missed micro. He ran in with the spears, and the Camel Archers are going to absolutely annihilate them. The Lancers just charge in at this point. The Kurultai does deploy, but all of those spearmen just went down in a blink of an eye. And that is not a fight that Anotand feels comfortable taking now. Has to back off. I don't think he can take the fight without the spearmen. But he's going to take it anyway. The numbers looking great for B. Fighting underneath the Kurultai. He doesn't care. The Camel Archers getting good value and making sure that those Keshiks aren't as powerful as they could be. Mangonel heading in that position, just about to deploy. This could be curtains, a great choke point for B to fight in. Mangonel shots, huge one. And a lot of those archers go on to half health. A massive Mangonel shot. We talked about how pivotal that could be. And another one kills a lot of those archers. And, okay, this is a big sweep up. The archer numbers looking great for B, sweeping up all of those Keshiks. And the Camel Archers are going to continue that chase. And the Kurultai, there's no way out for the Kurultai. It's probably going to get surrounded. B will take that out. And the Camel Archers will chase down what remaining units Anotand has. He has to go back. Doesn't have much back at home. Only 18 military units. He's behind on economy, behind on military. He's going to lose his Kurultai. And now that fight was absolutely huge. And it just feels like that Mangonel was such a big difference maker. Of course, losing those spearmen was a big hit as well, but the Mangonel got some great shots in. Real question is, what does Anotand do from here? Gonna have to try and hold on, maybe re-establish that trade again if he can. But he needs that eco, right? The big difference and the problem that Anotand faces, he's up against the Abassid dynasty that has a stronger economy, has a stronger military at this point. And it's a real struggle to come back. He's even just fighting against the archers with the Camel Archers, which is not ideal, but just with sheer numbers, B doesn't mind. He's keeping up the pressure. And if he does win this fight, he's going to start to attack the trade. I don't think he wins this fight, generally, B, although he does have a Lancer there. Actually, he will win that fight just because of the Lancer, mostly. And he does have a lot of archers coming in on the back of that. B looking strong for sure. Question is he up onto Golden Age Tier 3? He's not, actually. Ideally would be there because he would get that production speed 20% faster, but I don't think it matters at this point. He's got 91 military, loses the Camel Archers, but with the Mangonel there, well, 3DB takes the game on Danube River, and, well, Anotand just recognizes he's down and out, took a bad fight, and, well, he's made to pay. Hope you guys enjoyed the castle game. Take care, and see you next time.